okay, can we have positions, please, where everybody is before this riot starts?
Why am I in this project? I don't know. Since the us and them inquiry, I've been really interested in this whole concept of us and them, and I was just drawn to it. Writing that application letter was really, I think, the start of the journey for me in this project. Just, you know, thinking about what it has been to be them and to be an us too, and how that, you know, that interplay of those two places.
I got really interested in this project because I saw it on one of the newsletters I get from a human rights organization whose work I really respect and admire, and I found it really interesting because it's mixing art with awareness and human rights issues and all this, which is exactly the kind of stuff I like to get into.
And so when there was that call out for the application for people for the community workshop and the cast members, I thought, like, you know, I can just try.
I looked at it and I thought, oh, this is really cool, because if there's anything that I really get, it's being kind of put into a margin, right? But at the same time, as we got on with the project, I realized that it was also about how we marginalize other people. So it wasn't just about being the victim, it was about being the victimizer, so to speak. But, you know, it's not like there's good guys or bad guys. It was more like we're all doing the best we can for that moment.
I applied thinking there's no way I'll get in because I don't really have a lot of acting experience. And I wrote a huge essay on how I found myself relevant to the issues discussed in this play, the issues of marginalization and us and them and all this. And it was quite interesting because the audition itself, I think, went really well, but I still felt I really can't act. I shouldn't even think about it. But then as things developed, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm finding like I'm starting to discover other sides of me in this, and it's a very confrontational experience where you have to deal with your own issues in order to be able to do your part in the play, and it's based a lot on things that I and other friends of mine have been through, living in Western cultures as well, and sometimes our own.
The cast and production team, we have usually about 3 days, it's not an exact science, around a table. Then starting to talk about the things that came up in the workshop that are an essential part of a story. And by that I don't mean coming up with a list of issues. You know, we've all seen plays that are a shopping list of issues. They don't work. These are still, in a way, iconic actions. You know, if I think of things that came up in other processes for other plays, they're phrases like, someone gets isolated, a person goes to the edge, someone runs the gauntlet. And inside the context in which we're working, those things have meaning. And they start to create a kind of very rough story. And then we have these 6 people. You know, I don't want them playing themselves, but they have to be playing characters they can truly own. And so the cast then really does create the work. We start going, okay, someone runs the gauntlet. What does that look like? What happens when someone runs the gauntlet? One of the cast members goes, I know what that looks like, because they've done it. And we start putting up, through improvisation, different ways that occurs. And we do really extensive character interviews, and slowly, you know, for me, it isn't a matter of inventing. It's knowing that the story's there and finding a way to let it emerge out of the group.
Well, I think one of the things that I observe is how many people feel so isolated and feel alienated, but when we come together, we may have different stories, but we are the same in our isolation and alienation, and so then it's not as lonely anymore or as isolated anymore, because you have this different people, like just that searching. And so I think that for many immigrants and other people as well, we feel this loneliness, but when we find another person who share about her or his loneliness, then say, oh yeah, I feel that too. And so I think when we start to open ourselves to others and just like sort of like, you know, show what we have inside and share our stories. I found it really interesting whenever I travel to Western countries how there's always sometimes stigma attached to being Muslim or being Arab. Traveling through airports, I'm always like the random people that get chosen to have extra security measures done to them, and especially if I'm traveling between two Western countries, I'm usually one of the very few Arabs or Muslims on the flight, and I always get randomly selected to be searched in detail or having extra questions on the side with the security guys and all this, and it really bothered me. But also on arrival, I find that a lot of things I do in my daily life, they're not taking as Reem did this or Reem said that. It's always taken the Muslim or the Arab that we know said that, and it gets a little bit like more of a representative of my region rather than being just me. And this in a way really would force me to feel a bit different and a bit marginalized. It's not always necessarily a negative approach to being Muslim or Arab, but it's still, you feel that you're in the spotlight. And especially with what's happening with the media these days and over the past decade, the big attack on Muslims and Arabs of being terrorists or being this or being that, I kind of, and it might be coming just from me, that I always feel like I have to prove something or do or not do a specific thing so I won't give the wrong impression and all that. So this issue is very, very much close to me in my daily life.
Strange, because people can't accept you for who you are. They say they will, but at the same time, it's got to come conditionally. Like no one can, you can't just take somebody at face value of what they say they are. And I'm hoping that this play will break down those kinds of barriers, because it's a really important issue for me. And not just about transgender issues, but all the barriers each of the characters face in the play is rather colossal.
For the past years, I've been really looking for something to do that is meaningful and that is really important and that really matters. Because when I was in the Philippines, I was doing something like that. Like, I feel I mattered because I was doing something that mattered, and I was needed, and you know, I was part of something that was really important, and so I was really very happy when I realized that I was going to be part of this project.
When will humanity grow up? When will we figure out there's only us here, there is no them? It seems to me if the planet needs an overarching revolution, it's this.